So hello students, I guess you are fit and fine at your place. Yes. So let's start today's class. Okay students. So students, I have something for you. Yes. So I'm going to show you one image. You have to identify that image that is present at your house. Okay, at your home. So yes, this is image I have taken from your home. Okay. So students, tell me which area is this, which part, what is the name of this part of your house? Yes. Have you know about it? Yes students, very good. So basically this is a kitchen. Very good students. So students, we are coming forward. So students, have you ever seen these types of pulses and grains at your home? Whenever you helping your mother, yes, while cooking, your mother is cooking food for you daily, right? So where do you see these pulses and grains? In the kitchen only, right? So students, do you find it out some names of these? Okay, so let's do an activity related to only. Okay, so what we have students, imagine you are present in the kitchen. Okay, you are in the kitchen and you are helping your mother for making pulses. Now students, you have to observe and list the steps of preparation. So as your mother preparing you for pulses, dal for you, right? So students, what you will do it, you have to write it down the steps and tell me first step what your mother do. Yes, so you will say that, ma'am, my mother first take out the pulses, right? And second, wash into water for few seconds, right? You have seen that your mother does not leave the pulses for the more seconds, like for 1 to 3 hours, right? So students, as you can see, your mother, when you were washing the pulses, she immediately after 2 and 3 times taken out from the water, right? Because you know that pulses are very contain protein. So whenever you wash the pulses more for a longer period of time, then the pulses containing that proteins, right, that is going to be removed from them. So they become not usable, not eatable for you to gain from some pulses from proteins. Okay, so that's why your mother only take few seconds to wash it and do this activity for 2 and 3 times, right? Students, have you ever seen after then you can see that your mother will put it into the utensils for to boil it up, right? Boil the pulses to make it easier to bite and to eatable with your chapatis, right? So students, have you ever thought about it that your mother has done this activity before washing into the water? Did your mother use anything to remove some stones and some other substances which are not usable for us? Yes? Yes, very good. So basically your mother is going to use an activity where she uses its hands to perform it, right? So whenever there is some dust particles or other stones and other materials which are impurities, students, so that can be removed from your hands, right? So she done this. So students, if you will not remove that stones or other substances which is not usable for us, so will you eat that? No, no. So that is going to affect your health, right? So that method which we are going to use to separating out the impurities from the useful thing, that is help of the hands, that is students, one of the method that is called hand picking method. Okay, So this is the one of the method to be used for hand. Okay, so separating out. So let's see what is hand picking. So students, have you ever heard about this hand picking? Your mother has done it, right? So students, let's see what is hand picking firstly. So here you can see a hand picking is a method of separation, right? It is a method of separation by which the impurities, what are those impurities which that are different from the useful material. So we always come separated from the material which is useful from us from those impurities. Okay, so that can be hand picked or can be removed from there with the help of our hands. Okay, so see, this person is using the method of hand picking, and he has some grains and he is using his hands to separating out. And students, let me take other color to ensure that where is the impurities. So students, you can see on the ground whenever he is doing this practices, he coming out from the some impurities which is not usable for us. That is, he is doing it, he is removing the stones or other impurities. Okay, so let's see students, if we take about an example like this, let's take this as an example. Okay, so see, during the cooking, rice and pulses are separated from the stone by using hand picking method. So if such as if we have any container, okay, such as if we have any plate and we contain some rice, okay, in between we have such some stones, it is being mixed, it's a mixture, right? So we have rice and some stones, right students? So we can use this hand picking methods to removing the stones, right? So this is the method we can use for removing the stones from rice before cooking. So please remember, this is the method of a separation which is called hand picking. So that way you also do it, and your mother also has done this practices at your home. Have you seen it? Yes students? So yes, you have seen it, right? Okay students, so we have one more. So we have certain method of separation, that is hand picking, right? So we have some conditions for using it. So see, what we are the condition. First we have a size. Whenever you hand pick, you have to look for the size. If size is very smaller students, you are not able to pick that stone or other impurities, right? So that is important, the size is very matter. If in the rice you will not able to see the stone, how it is going to be not useful for, so the size must be matter. Then the quality, what kind of quality you are using, that is also matter, as well as this color. Sometimes you can see the white color is there rice, right, and black color stones are there, so that way we are easily able to identify that it is not a rice, it is a stone. So that way we easily able to find it out. These are the three conditions for making hand picking method. Okay, so students, now you have to list some examples from daily life where you see a hand picking method. Have you ever done this practice using hand picking? Yes. So let's see. So firstly, if we talk about in kheer, right, if my mother prepare kheer, I don't like cardamom, so I using the hand picking method. So I use with the help of spoon or with hand, I remove firstly the cardamom, then I will eat that kheer. So students, that way it is also, that is hand picking method also works upon. And sometimes let's say, suppose students, I have this color box, right? So I want to remove these black colored markers. So how I will do? I'm going to use my hands. So I'm going to pick it up those markers which are visible to me. So I find it out these black markers in the blue and the pink mark. So that way you can able to find it out. The hand picking method can be used not only in the kitchen, you can use at the every different places. Where do you use it? So here you can see the size is matter, size is larger, right? I'm easily able to find it out. If I talk about a pencil or other thing, so whose size is very smaller, so it is difficult to find it out. But size is very matter, color, you are able to, those things you will able to do at your places. Okay, now let's come forward. So students, this is a straight true or false. So you have to read the statement and then give me the answer. Okay, so hand picking is also used during harvesting. Do this statement is correct or not? What do you understand by this? Give me the answer and write it down your answer in the comment box. From there I'm able to find it out. Is it a correct answer you have given me or false? Okay. So hand picking is also used during harvesting. Yes, students? Yes, it is a false, because we have not seen that it is going to use in harvesting, because we use it after the harvesting, for after doing to removing the stone or other grains which is impurities into it. So that way we can use it for, but during the harvesting we are not able to use this hand picking method. So it is very difficult for us whenever we hand picking. Okay, so this is a first statement. Now students, you have to identify the name of the image. Yes, what kind of image is there? First is in the left hand side. Yes, this is a, these are the wheat fields, right? Okay, what about second one? Yes, this is a mustard field. So students, have you ever visited to these fields? When do you see these types of such a yellowish fields and in your surroundings, such a beautiful place? We like it. We usually visit whenever this is a harvesting time, right? The crops are very flowery and very smoothie, they are windy with the winds and they're blowing, so that's a very good part of it, right? So where do you have you visited to these places, field areas? Yes, so whenever you visited to that places, you can see these types of things, right? So students, let me show you one more activity. So I have an activity for you. Have you ever seen these types of things? So students, observe this person, what is he's doing with it. This is related with the wheat field. Okay, yes. Okay, so basically this person is working in the wheat field area, right? So he is in the wheat field area, right? So what he is doing, he have some two black horses, right? And he has one machine, right? So you can see these are the two things, and he is moving with it and he is working. So basically what he is doing, he is collecting the crops with the help of this machine and taking out the grains. Yes, okay. Now students, one more image on the right hand side. What are they are doing? Yes, yes, they are beating, they are beating the crops, right? So that way also we can come out some grains. So students, here you can see the people are using their hands to work, right? And they are beating on this type of machine, wooden part. So here also they collected the crops after harvesting. Okay, so students, this is one of the method where we work with. Here you can see a person who is working with the only with machine, but here many people are there, but here only single people, right? So we can say that here you can come to know that the people are there, which is one, but here are more people are there, right? They are working in this machine is there, but here only people are doing their work only. So with the help of the, but the main part is there, the only the all these two pictures are talking about the grains are taking out from the crops. Okay, so this is one of the process which we talking about it, that is students, let me talk about, that is threshing. Okay, so what is that process? That is threshing. First is hand picking, second is threshing. So threshing is also one of the method to separating the grains, okay, or a seed from the stalks. So let's firstly talk about what is threshing. So threshing is the process of separating a grains or a seed from the stalks, okay, that is called threshing. For example, like wheat grains or rices be separated by the beating on drums. So here you can see the person, all the three people are beating on the this heavy drum, right? So that grains will come out by their own. Okay, so these are the few method to separating the grains or seed from the stalks. So that way you can help to determine the separations, that is threshing. So here you can see the person is only working with the machine. So this is also one of the method. So basically students, we have two types of threshing. Okay, so first, which is in front of you, that is manual threshing. What is that? Manual threshing. And second, a threshing using machine. So in this, if we talk about manual threshing, in this the crop is beaten out the grains from it. So the person has to be do manually this work. Okay, so here the crops in beating on from the grains that we come out, and the threshing using machine where the person is using two horses and a machine, from there he is taking out the grains from the stalks, right? So students, you have to tell me, so this is the photograph is showing which type of threshing. Is it a manual or a machine? So you have to tell me which kind of it is, which kind of threshing. Yes, very good students. So basically it is a manual threshing. Very good. Now students, come forward. Now you have to tell me, think and tell me about your experience of threshing. Have you ever visited to these field areas where you see the person are working to taking out the grains from the stalks, right? So what is your experience? Have you ever done? Yes. So you have seen that at the harvesting time, it's a very hot, if we talk about wheat, right? So the temperature is very hot and sunny, so the people are more thirsty, they are feeling, and they are easily more feel thirsty and tidy, right? And also you can see them where today only the many of the people are working with the machines. They're using machines for, they are using some are using machines, right? So to comment out the grains from the stalks, but some are using this manual threshing. So it depends upon the people which threshing they are using. So it's a good, they are taking out the grain, they are separating the useful thing from unuseful thing. So that is very good way of separation of a threshing. Okay, Now students, you have to tell me the types of threshing. So first is, write it down your answer in the comment box. Yes, first is manual, right? And second is by machines. So these are the types of threshings. Okay students, very good. So now students, what you have, this is an activity. So firstly you have to tell me what kind of grains are there. Yes, from which crop it is. Yes, very good, it is a wheat grains, right? So let's see what we have to do with wheat grains. So suppose students, you have taken out the fresh grains from the field. Okay, now you want to make a flour of this, from it, the wheat grains. What will you do with grains before converting into grains? So before you converting that grains into flour, so what you will do, what is the activity you have to perform before giving to the people, to the shop, that they convert these fresh grain to your flour? Yes, do you wash the grains? Yes. During when you wash the grains in the water, so suppose here we have a water, so all the grains when you add it is being settled down at the bottom, right? And those things which are not useful, they are coming out at the top. So that way you can able to identify the impurities from grains, right? But students, there is one of the other method of separating the impurities, that is with the help of air. Okay, so with what is that method? Method is called winnowing. What is called? It is winnowing. So this is a method of separating the heavier and the light particles by blowing the air. So you have to make sure what kind of particles are there. So they are heavy particles, okay, and in lighter particles. You can separate the heavier or lighter from this way by blowing the air. So air must be required for this process, okay, and this is called a winnowing. So see here, a lady is doing this process. You can see this is a direction of air is written, that means the air is that direction, and here she is doing the activity of winnowing. So here you can see the lighter particles is coming out into the other direction, and the grain is being separated down at the bottom. So that way you can able to find it out, the separation of grains from the heavier lighter particles. Okay, so you can see here mixture of husk and seeds of grains are taken plates, and when you made to fall from the some height, so see you can see the lady is standing at some height on the table. So make sure there is some height, then you will do with this activity. If there is no height, so it is not properly being separated, so they will not separated the such a distance. So height is required, okay. And students, make sure at your shoulder it should be there, okay, up to that. As the mixture falls down, the lighter husk is taken out from the blowing, and the heavier grains is fall down to make a heap, okay. So that way they make a heap, and that can be separated. So students, now you have to tell me for the difference between threshing and winnowing. So what do we think for the threshing? Threshing can be done manually, right? And with the help of machine also. But we cannot do this process with machine, right? But we can do in the manually. and for the threshing purpose we separated the grains from the stalks, right? But for the winnowing, this process we do after we have to convert, before it, to converting these grains to flour. So that way we do this activity in this winnowing. So these are the two different processes we do it. So now students, you have to tell me the answer. 4 options are there, you can write it down in the comment box. Winnowing is used to separate the grains from the dash solvent, sediment, stalk or chaff. Yes students, very good. So winnowing is it is used to separate the grain from the chaff. So this is a process of removing the unusual thing, which is useless things you have to remove from this. Okay, that is winnowing. So let's recap. So students, what we have discussed today, which kind of methods? First we have discussed threshing. First we have discussed about one of them, that is hand picking, right? Hand picking, we have done it, and one more is left, that is winnowing. So these are the, and last one we have done it also as a threshing, right? So winnowing method comes before or after threshing. So what is your answer students? Winnowing is the process come after or before? Yes, after the threshing. You can't taking the grains, after you want to convert that grains to flour, you have to do this activity. Okay, threshing is done to separate. So threshing is done to separate the grains from the stalks, stalks. Okay, so students, these are the